She instructed the gentleman in the suit to linger outside. As it happened, he was the building's owner. The receptionist declared that couriers must remain outdoors, her eyes glued to her phone. She spun a wad of gum between her lips, hardly sparing a glance for the figure before her. He wore a sleek charcoal suit, refined yet understated, shiny black loafers, clutching a leather satchel, composed, assured, impeccable. He didn't protest. He didn't grimace. He merely regarded her briefly, offered a courteous dip of his head, and pivoted away. The young lady, named Sara Coleman, only 3 months on the job, she returned to swiping through Instagram reels, oblivious to the colossal blunder she'd just committed, one that lingers in hushed tales for decades, trailing. You long after you clock out for the last time. Beyond the glass entrance of Nexlify Solutions, a mid-tier tech outfit in Riva, Texas, the man casually fished out his phone. She hadn't inquired about his identity. She hadn't peeked at the schedule. She hadn't spotted the ID badge tucked inside his coat. Above all, she was clueless that the person she'd banished outdoors was Mr. James Carter, the freshly appointed CEO of the whole operation. Within, the office buzzed with its typical blend of startup vigor and mild corporate disorder. Employees slouched over laptops in sprawling workspaces, tapping keys and gulping from reusable tumblers. Meeting rooms dubbed the Hub and the Brainstorm Nook had their shades half-drawn. A cluster of promo staff prepped a showcase in the lounge area. Nothing seemed amiss yet. Outside, James lingered on his call, voice hushed. "Yep, just got here. Trouble already," he murmured, casting a sidelong smirk toward the foyer. His tranquility carried a quiet strength, no flicker of irritation, no huff of impatience, just steady awareness. He hung up, straightened his tie, and stood by. Inside, Sara was chatting with Evan Riley from HR, who paused by her station with a latte. "Seen the 10 a.m. visitor yet?" he asked. Sara popped a gum bubble. "Some courier guy swung by a sec ago. Told him to chill outside." Evan's eyes widened. "Hold up. What did he look like?" "Older black dude in a suit carrying a satchel. What's up?" Evan's gut sank. He leaned over the desk and peered through the glass. "You didn't get his name?" Sara shrugged. "Seemed like a courier. Gave off that UPS vibe, you know." Evan didn't crack a smile. He whipped out his phone and started calling. Outside, James remained poised, gazing, biding his time. He wasn't a mere guest. He wasn't there to pitch or glad hand. He'd become the primary stakeholder of Nexlify Solutions after a discreet buyout sealed under 48 hours prior. Today marked his debut as CEO. He'd arrived to watch, to gauge who noticed him and who didn't. Inside, though, unease was brewing. Evan's fingers shook faintly as he awaited the line to pick up. "Hey, Evan, HR here. Yeah, someone's got to step outside ASAP. I think he's here." He cut the call and stared at Sara. "You didn't even ask who he was?" Sara got prickly. "How was I supposed to guess? He didn't announce himself." Evan didn't debate. He strode off briskly, mumbling under his breath. Head swiveled, then more followed. Outside, James glanced at his watch. 10:03 a.m. He noticed silhouettes peeking through slats, murmurs rippling near the entryway. He tapped his phone once more, fired off a quick message, then tilted his head skyward as if time were no object. But it was. Inside, the mood shifted, slight yet tangible. Claire Bennett, a top VP, emerged from her glassed-in perch upstairs, phone to her ear, her brows arched. "You kidding me?" she hissed into it. She hustled down the steps, heels snapping with purpose, breezed past the break area and veered toward the reception, her strides quickening. She hit Sara's desk, voice steady but strained. "Where's he at?" Sara blinked. "Who?" Claire didn't reply. She tugged the door wide and stepped out. James turned to her like they'd bumped into each other at a cafe. "Miss Bennett," he said, tone velvet. "I'm so sorry," she blurted. "A mix-up at reception." "No problem," he answered, flashing a subtle grin. I wanted to see how it'd play out. Claire's throat parched. That grin, calm, restrained, hit harder than a yell. "Please, come with me," she urged. James inclined his head. As they crossed the threshold, the office hushed. Folks feigned disinterest, but gawked regardless. Some rose, others edged from their stations. Evan watched from afar, eyes bulging. Sara, still at her post, looked up and stiffened. James glided past without a hitch. She parted her lips to speak, but silence held. The corridor to the executive suite stretched long, adorned with vintage shots of the firm's pioneers and key victories. James eyed each one as they walked. "Your reception," he murmured, "sets the tone for this whole place." Claire nodded fast. "Got it." He halted. "Does it?" she faltered. "We've been refining training. We'll tackle it right away." He gave her a lingering glance, then moved on. In the executive suite, 3 suits sat ready, water bottles lined up, notes at hand. One had his laptop hooked to the display, cueing a pitch nobody requested. They stood as James stepped in. He didn't sit immediately. He gazed out the window, then faced them. "I'm not staying long today," he said. "This isn't official. I'm here to look, to assess, to spot who keeps this place humming, who truly notices, who cares." Silence reigned. He eyed the laptop guy. "Disconnect that. No slides today." Then he eased into a chair, set his satchel aside and clasped his hands. "I'll hold talks all day, one-on-one, unscheduled, informal." He paused. "Genuine." Out front, Sara was frantically Googling James Carter. Her mouth felt like sand. She caught Claire's distant, wordless stare down the hall. Sara dropped her gaze. She knew she'd blown it big. But the real kicker was still ahead. James wasn't there to axe anyone. He was there to hold up a mirror. An email pinged at 10:22 a.m. Subject: "Welcome, James Carter. Today's visit." Brief, no fuss, just Claire Bennett's note that the new CEO would roam, chatting with staff across teams. No prep needed, just show up. That lit the fuse. Whispers erupted fast. "You met him yet?" "Wait, that was him out there? Heard reception shoot him off, told him to wait, for real. Man, that's nuts." No names dropped, but all knew. Sara stayed rooted, hands idle on her keys. Her screen swam. Her brain rewound. The glance he shot her, his unflappable exit, the silence as he left. She longed to vanish into her seat. Over in product dev, tension simmered. Malik Stone, team head, had just coached his crew on polished small talk for drop-ins when a whisper hit. "Mr. Carter's here." Malik played it smooth. "Yeah, passed us 15 minutes back, said he'd circle around." His team froze. No one voiced it, but nerves jangled. In this shop, like plenty others, a big wig popping in unscripted meant one thing: a trial. In the break nook, 2 interns sat rigid. "Bro," one hissed, "Sara pegged him as a courier?" The other shook her head. "I'd bounce if I were her." "Nah," the first said, "not yet. She's clueless what's coming." Meanwhile, James strolled the finance floor with Henry Sullivan, a veteran director. James stayed quiet, ears open. "We keep it loose here," Henry said, pacing quick. "A vibe that lets folks flow, team up freely." James paused. "What's your churn rate here?" Henry blinked. Last quarter about 16%. "Solid?" Henry stared at his feet. "Better than Q2 anyway." James gave a nod. Then he veered into a side room where a junior analyst munched trail mix at her desk. "Hey," James said, extending a hand. "Can I sit?" She jolted. "Oh, no, sure. I mean, yes, go ahead." He grinned, took the spare seat. "Name? Emily? Emily Rivera. What's the best part of this gig, Emily?" She paused. The crew, I guess. We swap data notes. It's not cutthroat." James nodded. "Folks feel listened to here?" Emily wavered. "Some do. Others think it hinges on who they are, how they come off." James eased back, letting it sink in. Then he rose. "Thanks for keeping it real, Emily." And he was off. the corridor. Claire flanked him again. "You're rattling everyone," she said, aiming for Breezy. "Not here to spook," James replied. "Here to see the place, the people, not the walls." Claire went quiet. Then she ventured, "What'd you catch this morning up front?" James met her eyes, voice level. Someone who didn't dig deeper, didn't double-check, saw what she figured and nothing else. Claire gulped, but James kept moving. He had one last stop lined up, the toughest yet. At 11:04 a.m. the elevator parted. James stepped out solo. No aide, no VP, no guard, just him. He ambled down the hall, past the sales pit where reps faked normalcy, past the strategy squad with their half-baked decks, past a tiny meeting room, with "urgent huddle" scrawled shakily on the board. He paused at reception. Sara was there, shoulders taut, fingers fidgeting over unsent emails. He said nothing at first, just stood. She glanced up, eyes locked. He tipped his head, same as before. "Mr. Carter," she stammered, lurching up so fast her chair teetered. I'm really sorry about earlier. I didn't know, no one." Said. James lifted a hand softly. "Got a sec to chat? Somewhere private?" Sara blinked. "Yeah, sure. Small office down the hall." She led, steps stiff, like her shadow had eyes. They entered a cramped, dusty room. One chair, one desk. She closed the door. He gestured for her to sit. She did. He stayed upright, scanned the space. "This works." Then he sat opposite, satchel on the floor, like it was routine. "You know me now?" he said, even-keeled. "Yes," she nodded. I do. Walk me through this morning." Her throat seized. I jumped to conclusions. Didn't ask your name, didn't check the plan. You walked in and I figured you were dropping something off." She gave a small nod. "You usually ask who's here for what. Sometimes, like if they seem—" She stopped herself. "If they don't say, I try to suss it out. But I guess sometimes, I know that's wrong." He leaned in. "Why'd you assume today?" Sara stared at her hands, fingers knotted white. "I don't know. I saw a guy in a suit, satchel, but my head, it went elsewhere. Didn't think. Now I feel dumb, ashamed." He nodded slow. "Not dumb, human." She met his gaze. "Still," he went on, "you can't man the front and not see folks. That's like a guard who leaves gates wide open. Seems minor, but it's the first signal of what's inside." "I get it," she murmured. "Do you?" He pressed. Not harsh, but real. "I wasn't upset, I wasn't ticked, I've faced worse, but I watched. You skipped a chance, not just with me, with you." Sara's eyes shimmered. No tears, but the weight was there. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I buy that," James answered. "But one more thing." He leaned back. "If I'd been a courier, what then?" She paused. "Told you to wait. Outside, I guess." "Why? Last manager drilled that in." He nodded. "Ever wonder how that lands, leaving someone out there like they don't count?" Sara mulled it. "I will now," she said low. James stood. "No one's can today, Sara. That's not my play. But if I'm back in 6 months and it's the same routine, that's yours to own. Not rules. Not a boss. You." She rose too. "I get it." He opened the door. "Good. How you handle folks, especially ones you don't clock as big, screams louder than anything." And he stepped out. Now it was everyone's turn to weigh in. The day flowed slow, steady. No one knew his next move. He ignored agendas, skipped decks, didn't buy polished lines. He ducked into talks mid-flow, pulled interns aside, sat by coders tapping away, asked promo analysts what they really felt about the last push, not just the stats. And he tuned in, sharp, patient, all there. Some spilled, some tripped. A few faked it. He saw through. In sales, Lauren Hayes, a 6-year vet account exec, sat across from him at the dusty high top nobody used. He leaned close. "Name one thing this place nails, one it flops at." Lauren didn't flinch. "We push a tight product, but tune out voices we don't vibe with." He arched a brow. "You've piped up?" Twice. Town hall once, small crew once. Smiles, nods, zip changed. He locked eyes. That shifts now. She gave a quiet nod. No grin, just got it. In ops, he flagged a guy in a hoodie, earbuds in, at a triple-screen stand-up desk. Name? Dylan. Dylan with a Y. Like it here, Dylan with a Y. Dylan smirked. Yeah, pays all right. Remote most days. Today's a bust. James laughed soft. What's your boss miss? Dylan shrugged. Built a tool last year. Cuts like 10 hours weekly. Barely a blip. Why? Not shiny. Just runs smooth. James nodded. Low key. Work shifts peaks. Dylan blinked hard. Realest thing he'd heard in ages. Upstairs, Claire huddled with directors, buzzing about Sarah's flub to James's pop-ins. Derek Kim, strategy chief, leaned back, arms folded. This won't hold, he grumbled. Claire shot him a look. Maybe. They should have been on it. Derek scowled. This feel right to you? Claire exhaled. It's past due. Downstairs, James hit the HR suite. Spotted Evan again, the one who'd clocked him early. You caught on, James said flat. Evan nodded, edgy. Didn't hide it, thanks. Evan blinked. Honesty felt safest. James grinned thin. Usually does. His face turned firm. What's the vibe here? Straight up. Evan paused. Bit tight, real talk. Lots feel invisible unless they screw up or match the top dogs. James didn't flinch. Thanks for that. At 2:48 p.m., he hit the lobby again. Sara was there. Now she snapped up, met his gaze, stood tall, gave a smooth Mr. Carter. He tipped his head. Then he faced the lobby where folks hovered by windows or loitered up front, nosy. Round everyone up, he told Claire, who'd just caught up. All of them. No ranks, no units, just humans. She nodded. Got moving. By 3:10 p.m., most packed the common zone. No mic, no platform, just James in the center, human, not honcho. He scanned the crowd. You're all guessing what I spotted today, he kicked off. A few laughs, some shaky grins. I saw skill. I saw drive. I saw folks grinding on stuff that counts. He paused. But I also saw quiet where words should have rung, gaps where warmth belonged, and faces too many, worn out from being missed. He let it sit. This outfit's turning a page. That turn's not mine solo. It's how you roll with each other, who you skip, who you boost or shove off. He eyed Sara. She held steady. From now, we're not coasting as is. We're moving, with purpose. And that sparked Nexlify Solutions' new chapter. It didn't just start, it roared in. The place wound down. Some hit their desks, others clumped, voices low. Sara stuck at her spot, watching James head to the exit with Claire. At his side, right before the door, he stopped. Then he spun back to her. Got 5 more minutes? He asked. Sara rose slow. Sure. He pointed to their prior side room. She trailed, not scared now, but hungry to grasp. They sat, same spots, same vibe. But the air thickened, something unsaid brewing, and they both felt it. I wasn't always suited up, James began. You catch that? Sara stayed mute. First gig post-college? Tech startup in Austin. Bottom rung support. Took calls, reset servers. Barely a blip too. Them. He let out a dry chuckle, heavier than it sounded. Day 1, I rocked a blazer, aimed to impress. Desk lady eyed me, said, custodial's out back. Didn't set her straight, just kept on. Sara swallowed. James leaned in. I recall it, not 'cause it stung, but 'cause it was routine. No spite, just a reflex. Bias passing as gut. Sara's eyes stretched. You didn't call it out? Nah, wanted to test if it'd repeat. Did 4 more rounds. He eased back. That's why I stayed mum this morning. I've been there too often to tally, but today wasn't me. She tilted her head. Then who? You, he said, and every soul crossing that threshold. Couriers, rookies, guests, clients. You can't flip the planet, Sarah, but you can shape what hits 'em here. He let it breathe. I rolled in silent. No fanfare, no posse. Wanted to clock what goes down when I'm a nobody. Sarah blinked. And I tanked. No, he said sharp. You slipped. Different beast. Then he tacked on, ever see how grace flows most to folks who need it least? She nodded slow. I'm handing you more than a redo, he said. I'm handing you a lens. What you make of it's yours. Her voice hushed. Thanks. This sticks. He stood. She followed. One last bit, he said. Monday you're spearheading something new. Her eyes popped. Me? Yep. In-house welcome training, reception, tech, guards. You'll team with HR, craft how we meet folks, all levels. Sarah blinked. But what if I'm not cut for it? He grinned. Weren't prepped this morning either. Check where you're at now. And he walked, not to smack the firm down, but to rebuild it door to peak. Next day, the place felt fresh, not from a memo, not some big shake-up, but 'cause folks eyed each other, themselves anew. Sarah clocked in early, stood taller at her. Desk, spoke Crisper, smiled with intent. She welcomed every entrant like they counted, 'cause they did. When a delivery guy dropped a package at 9:45, she didn't wave him off. Offered water, checked if he needed a hand, jotted his name. That's the spark. Days later, James didn't blast a firm-wide email. No LinkedIn flex on culture jolts. Didn't have to. His point landed. Bit by bit, teams pivoted. Talks once locked tight spilled into huddles. HR kicked off listening rounds. Floor leads sat amid the fray, not behind panes. Folks clocked it. And Sara, new tag, internal vibe lead, still held the desk, but now ran bi-weekly crew chats on vibe, tone, and how quick we ditch someone as nothing when we don't peg 'em as something. She didn't repeat that slip. More, she coached others off it. That day wasn't just a receptionist CEO tale. It was about vision, what clicks when you opt to clock folks for real, not what you reckon they are. That desk beat, it's every gig, every class, every shop. People skipped, misread, shrunk to a hunch, not a name. We all hit spots that test us. Sarah's struck when she thought eyes were off. James's hit when he picked teaching over snapping. Both left altered. So your turn. Your moment drops, you at the desk or the one brushed off. What's your move? See or guess? 'Cause that gap ain't tiny. It's all. If this hit you, pass it. Co-worker, colleague, someone who needs it. The takeaway's not theirs alone. It's ours.